On February 2nd, 2019, number 23 North Carolina State hosted a number 12 Virginia Tech, the first time the two programs met while both being ranked. North Carolina State was 4-4 in the ACC, so far averaging 76 points per game in ACC play and 84 points per game on the season so far. North Carolina State had lost ranked games to number 22 Wisconsin, number 12 UNC, and an overtime loss to number 3 UVA just days prior. They were still ranked 23 at the time and had a lot of confidence shooting the ball. On the other side of the court, Buzz Williams was in his 5th season at Virginia Tech and had the Hokies off to an 18-3 start. They had already grabbed a win at number 23 Purdue, while only dropping games to Penn State, number 4 UVA, and number 11 UNC. Virginia Tech was allowing 70 points per game in ACC play. Tech was playing this game without their second leading scorer, Justin Robinson, though, who had injured his foot in the team's win over Miami earlier in the week. Fans had a reasonable excuse to get excited before the game between Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. The ACC rivals were in the midst of relatively promising seasons, and both teams are considered to be top 25 programs in the nation. On paper, it was a recipe for some hot, hardwood action. Unfortunately, someone forgot to turn on the oven. The teams had comparable losses. They had similar averages. Yes, Virginia Tech was down a shooter, but at the end of the day, North Carolina State was only favored at home by 3 points. This, by all accounts, should have been a great ACC game. It wasn't, but it was historic. 47-24. 47-24. That's not the halftime score. That's the final. It was the lowest scoring performance by a ranked Division I college basketball team in the shot clock era, which began in 1985. The Wolfpack were 2 for 28 from three-point range. That's 7.1%. And 9 for 54 from the field. That's 16.7% in the loss. The over-under for this game in Vegas was 152 points. The teams combined to score 71 points. That's less than half. Hold on, I have a few extra highlights. It's absolutely wild that playing a home game in the middle of conference season, a ranked team from the ACC managed to score just 24 points in a regulation 40-minute college basketball game. There was no rain delay, no game called because of a sudden isolated natural disaster inside PNC Arena. Kevin Case didn't decide to play just one player at a time as some sort of protest. NC State, a team which entered the game averaging 84.4 points per game, tried its best for 2 hours and managed to only amass 24 points. No NC State player shot 50% or better. And sophomore sharpshooter Braxton Beverly was 0 for 12 from the field, including 0 for 9 from 3. It had been more than 50 years since NC State last scored 24 or fewer points in a game. NC State's 24 points are the fewest in a game since they beat Duke 12-10 in the ACC tournament in 1968, which is the lowest scoring game in ACC history, also prior to the invention of the shot clock. The point total is the lowest of any Division I team in a conference game since 2008. Adding to the ridiculousness of North Carolina State's total is the fact that the team doing the defending was Virginia Tech and not, say, Virginia. The Hokies entered the game ranking 10th in the 15-team ACC in adjusted defensive efficiency. The same Virginia Tech team gave up 103 points in a 21-point loss to North Carolina just 12 days prior. At the moment of time when North Carolina State scored only 24 points, there were 10 players in Division I basketball who were averaging 24 points per game or greater. In fact, that same week, Memphis's Jeremiah Martin scored 41 points in just the second half against South Florida. Now, I've heard of players going cold, going through a few game shooting slump, or going cold for a half, but I've never witnessed an entire team go cold. And it's not like we could say the rims were bent because it was on both sides of the court. And Virginia Tech was able to score some points, although they were held to a pretty low score also. It was just the most bizarre college basketball game I've ever witnessed. In addition to stealing a really nice road win in incredibly dominating fashion, Virginia Tech coach Buzz Williams said after the game he intends to take the team out for ice cream on the way home. After doing what they did to a good NC State team that came in Saturday scoring the 7th most points at the Division I level, they earned it. This is also some crazy shade. If you're not familiar with Kevin Keatts, North Carolina State's coach, he takes his players out for ice cream after every win. Well, at least someone's getting ice cream.